What's up, guys? Dr. Mo here, digital nomad physician at digitalnomadphysician.com. All right, a little bit about me. When I look at my videos, I realize like, oh man, people who start watching me don't even know anything about me. So I'm a family medicine physician. I'm a board certified family medicine physician. And remember, you can only say you are board certified if you are board certified by the American Board of Family Medicine, which is the child of ABMS, American Board of Medical Specialties. You can't say you're a board certified family medicine physician, even if you are boarded through National Board of Physicians and Surgeons, NBPAS, which I'm also boarded through. That's business. That's how marketing works. That's how business works. So I'm a family medicine doctor. I live a little bit in the US. I live a little bit abroad, from Mexico to Spain to other places. And usually when I go back to the US, I'll do a little bit of urgent care or family medicine work. But the rest of the time, I either do some telemedicine for other companies, which is rare, just because most of the time they're not okay with you being abroad. Some of them are. But I run my own telemedicine practice, Digital Nomad Telemedicine, and I run my own health coaching practice, which is a cardiac health or heart health coaching practice. And the reason I decided to start these two is because I wanted to have something of my own that is completely not medicine-based, so that's heart health coaching, where I'm not a physician, something that is completely medicine-based, which is my own virtual practice. And of course, I do all this stuff. I do videos on YouTube, and I do podcasts, and I do my own website, digitalnomadphysician.com. And a lot of that is so that I can become more comfortable talking about the things that I talk about, practice it before I actually work with someone. One of the things that I do, one of the things that makes me good money and I really, really love doing is career coaching, physician coaching. And it's interesting because I was just listening to this podcast, and that's why I decided to actually record this video, because it puts a lot of perspective on things. This podcast that I enjoy listening to, the Paradocs, I don't fully understand. They're part of some libertarian network, but the physician who's on there, I think he's an anesthesiologist. And what I love most is actually the people he brings on, and when he interviews them. There isn't a lot that I would say from that physician that I've taken away, but his mannerism, his interviewing style, and the way he talks and the way he thinks about stuff is really good. It's really good. So it's been enjoyable. One of the episodes is with Dr. Buck Parker. That's the one that I was listening to. I think it was April 2022 or something like that, if you want to look it up on your podcast player. And kind of towards the end of the podcast, the physician who runs it, I forgot his name, who runs Paradocs, he was saying how he doesn't get it. He doesn't get why physicians go into coaching. Why do they become career coaches and life coaches? It doesn't make any sense. And then the other physician, Dr. Buck Parker, who is sharing his story, how he got into Bitcoin mining and some other, I think, YouTube stuff right before he had to end his career. His career was ended by his employer. He got fired. How, yeah, it's so silly that these doctors are trying to go teach you something. These other people are trying to teach you something when they don't have anything that is successful, that is considered success on their own. And I want to talk about this because a lot of you guys who are considering starting something outside of the realm of what you traditionally do, you're kind of blinded by this. You're so weighed down by this concept that, oh, if I'm not the world leading expert on something, then I should not be anyone to be teaching this. And there's a lot of interesting stuff there. For example, Dr. Parker, in his reply, said, yeah, like I would never want to learn from like an exercise coach or something like that who's fat or overweight. That's fascinating to me. This is interesting. This is an okay mentality to have. There's nothing wrong with that mentality. But have you ever seen the coaches of top tennis players? Any of them look in shape to you? Generally not. And there's a reason for that. There's things that you can teach and there's things that you can do. And sometimes your teaching abilities, your observational abilities are much more powerful. I think that same surgeon could say that if a surgeon is fat, then I'm not going to go to that surgeon, because obviously that's a very poor representation of health, right? If you have a family medicine doctor who's fat, you probably don't want to go to that family medicine doctor, except that maybe that family medicine doctor is incredibly well-read, has a lot of empathy, really connects with you, is fully available no matter when you call that physician, and fully accepts the fact that he has a weight issue, and there are many other circumstances why he has weight issues. And I think that is powerful, to be able to go to this next level of not just saying, well, why is every doctor becoming a lifestyle coach? Why is every doctor becoming a lifestyle coach? The reason we're becoming lifestyle coaches is because some of us left, and I don't consider myself a lifestyle coach. I only coach on the things that I know. For example, physicians who are dealing with state medical board investigations. I dealt with 3 different state medical boards. With my medical board investigation, people who got fired from large medical organizations. I got fired from Kaiser Permanente. Starting your own virtual practice, healthcare consulting, going into teaching. I taught at a community college while I was a physician, owning another practice, owning another business outside of medicine. I owned an auto mechanic shop for 2 years, ran it successfully and sold it to my partner. Getting into real estate. I know a little bit about real estate, not a topic of passion for me. It's something I do, but it wouldn't be something that I would want to talk to anyone about. But the reason it's important for me to actually do this on the side is because I enjoy it. So number one, it's important for me to do it because I enjoy it. Number two, because it helps a lot of people. There are people always just a step below you, and they're looking at you, they're looking towards you and saying, hey, Dr. Mo, how did you do this, dude? And sometimes you say, it was kind of this, and this. And it's kind of superficial. And they're like, I want to learn more. Oh my gosh, you have a coaching thing. I'm going to pay you. I want to learn everything you know. And again, kind of the reason I say some of these things are ironic is because this podcast is essentially this physician taking all of the knowledge from these experts and sharing it with his physician audience so that the physician audience learns it. And sure, it is free, as in this podcast person is not charging you any money, but the only reason that happens is because he's selling advertisement. He's not, he's making money. It's just that I think it's unpalatable for some physicians or for some individuals to say that I'm going to charge you $5,000 for a 3-month session with me, or I'm going to charge you, $600 for a 1-hour session of what I do, which is $600 for 1 hour, or $250 for 30 minutes. And it's important to tease these things out. It's important to tease these things out because you're only going to learn things from people who have already done it. And it's easier to learn from other people's mistakes than to make all of your own mistakes. And you're still going to have to make all of your own mistakes. But you're going to sort of catapult yourself by getting ahead. And what I thought was interesting is that this physician, Dr. Parker, the way he learned Bitcoin mining, he said it took him 18 months to learn to be a Bitcoin miner. And apparently he made really good money, enough that he wasn't afraid to leave his surgery job and he didn't have to go back. But it took him 18 months. And the reason it took him 18 months is because he had to go learn everything on his own. And he only got a little bit of information from this one other Bitcoin miner who was driving multiple Ferraris, etc. And for that individual, for this doctor, probably the best thing to do would have been to spend those 18 months and learn it on his own, because he probably learned things in a very unique way that is much more powerful to him than maybe if he learned it from somebody else. But I know my personality, I know the way I function, I know the way I work. I would actually want to go to that person who's a Bitcoin miner or has done Bitcoin mining, is still in the Bitcoin mining game, and who's willing to teach me. And I would say, well, let me see, if I can pay you $5,000 and you can take that 18 months down to, let's say, 6 months or 10 months, and apparently if I'm making somewhere between $100,000 to $250,000 a month, as this doctor laid out, well, that's a lot more income that I could have much faster. So to me, that's a good investment. And I totally understand that may not be a good investment for somebody else. I have so many physicians who contact me on my WhatsApp and they're asking me for free advice. And they're getting free advice. They're getting that level, that quality of advice. And I'm guessing some of them are taking action based on that advice. But it is not the same kind of advice where I do with my coaching clients, where I'm going in depth and researching it, and like we'll go with my, my hospitalist, my gastroenterologist, physician coaching client, and I'm researching everything, they're researching everything, we bring it all together, we brainstorm, we come up with these great ideas. It's nothing like that. It's a different level, and it's good, but it's just not the same. So I just want to say that, because if you are interested in doing this, if you are a physician and you're interested in creating something where you become a coach for someone, or you become a teacher for someone, or you know something, you want to teach how to do joint injections anywhere in the body, right? Still doesn't exist. Still does not exist. Believe me, it was 2006 when I started moonlighting in not Salem. Was it Salem? Salem, California? Anyway, I was moonlighting there, and I was like, oh my God, I really got to tap this ankle, and I don't know how to tap this ankle. And I started watching a YouTube video of this guy from another country with a thick accent showing me how he was doing it, and no explanation about what to look for, what complications, how to. And then apparently there was somebody who was developing something on the side, and you had to pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars to get membership, institutional access, and it was ridiculous. And now fast forward 2006, we're 2022, so 16 years later, and we still don't have anything like it where somebody can just take me through every kind of steroid injection. I don't care if it's trigger point injections, joint injections, what is it called? Rhizotomy procedures, these little things that are done generally office-based, right? Elbow tap, wrist tap, I don't care, like median nerve injection and ganglion cyst extraction or whatever it's called. We don't have that. And so if you are somebody who wants to do that and you want to create something, don't think that you're a fraud. Don't believe the other stuff that you hear. And if you want to go into coaching, if you want to be a lifestyle coach for physicians, for fuck's sake, do it, because there are so many of us who need it, who are desperate for this kind of information. Physicians who are burnt out, who need to learn how to get things back. Physicians who are in romantic relationships and don't know how to balance their career with their romantic relationships. Parents, moms, dads who don't know how to deal with their kids as doctors because, they've got all this money and they got all this fame and, whatever it is that they're dealing with. And if you're going to be the coach for these people, dude, do it. Charge as much money as you want and enjoy listening to other people who may have something against you, who might say, like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is every doctor now all of a sudden becoming coach? Enjoy that, because there is probably a reason why this person thinks this person thinks you are not worth the money that you're charging, that this person probably can find this information on their own. And that is the beauty of being a human being, is that some of us are able to do it on our own, some people need to pay for it, and some people never find any value in having more information. That's just the way we all are, and there's nothing bad about it. Just this is the human nature. So I don't know. I hope this was helpful. It was something that I had to reflect on, and I often reflect better just doing it publicly or out loud. And for those reasons, I think I'm going to continue my coaching practice. I'm going to continue my my heart health coaching, my physician career coaching. I'm going to continue my telemedicine practice. I'm going to continue my consulting practice. I think these are things that I love. And if somebody wants to learn how to do it, I'll happily charge them money to do it, because why not? I'm sharing my knowledge with them. And when I do that, they share something with me, so I get better at what I do. So when I take my information to someone else, I say, well, my last coaching client did this with his practice. My last coaching client did this with her practice. And so you could do this with your practice, right? So I'm just taking information and learning and getting better at it. Anyway, if you want to reach me, drmo@digitalnomadphysician.com. This is the YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you want to get contact, if you want to be notified by probably a weekly video that I might publish. This is the YouTube thing is probably where I kind of let loose and just talk about whatever I want. My podcast is where I dive into detail about certain other topics, and the blog itself, digitalnomadphysician.com, that's where I kind of write articles to just kind of highlight certain ideas and concepts and then throw a bunch of links to different places. So this is the way I've organized my life. And I write some stuff on LinkedIn. I think that's worth checking out as well. I hope this is helpful. Take care, guys.